Hey, what's up guys? So I have a mock setup for the N2MB harness that I've been building for you guys. I wanted to make a video so you guys can see how it goes. I already have the second piece on here. I'll walk through all of this. I kind of have it mocked up so that I can give you guys a good run. Now, the first thing we're going to want to do is obviously pick your car up and take off the negative terminal off your battery, not the positive like everybody else does. Take off your negative. It's always, if power has nowhere to go, it can't go anywhere. Now, you're going to want to run this white side through, leave the gray exposed into your engine bay wherever you want it. There's two options. Option number one would be down by your feet where you ran your wideband or any other boost gauges or whatever aftermarket gauges you may be running. Option number two, I really like, this isn't my vehicle, this is a friend's vehicle. He has a speaker power ran, or the, before, that comes along this internal fender here and goes along here and comes up into the top there. So there's two options on where you want to run this cord. So I have built it to withstand the heat and everything for down there, but it will do perfect up there as well. And I have built a long enough tail here to reach to that section as well. But the option's yours. Once you run this, you're ready for step two. So we're gonna put that aside and we're going to get started on section number two. So you're gonna have your gray plug down there. You're gonna wanna feed all of your new harness. I probably should have used a different color so we could see it better. Through, make sure you find your lines. Don't plug anything in yet. This is the Y. You're just gonna go down and sit on top of your transmission. This part is going to sit over here towards your ECU. Now, I didn't account for the AME airbox because I didn't have access to one in order to take the measurements. So I used a factory airbox and kind of mocked it off that. But my measurements were a little off and I didn't quite make this big enough. So if you're running an AME, I do have a small bit of bad news for you, but I have a solution and I'll send you some stuff with these already. So if you need them, you'll have it and you'll know how to do what you got to do. I do apologize. I promise it was an error on my part. After your battery's been disconnected, we're going to come over here and we're going to unplug all of your coils. Make sure you keep them nice and neat, and you're going to want to pull back all the tape all the way back to this junction on all of them. Okay, you're going to keep them in line. Make sure you remember which ones go to which. Don't let them mixed up. They really kind of line up together, but just to ensure. You're going to notice that there's two wires coming out of each of the backs. It goes pin 1, pin 2, pin 3. Pin 3 is going to have a blue wire with a gray line, and I'll show you that here. This is a blue wire with a gray line. This is number 1, so it's going to have in the middle, pin 2, a green wire with a blue line. That's important. You make sure you remember where each one of these go because that matters. So what you're going to want to do after you have these all pulled back and cleaned up nice and neat, you're going to grab the harness and plug it into each one. Now there's no power, so you don't have to worry about doing any damage. It's just so you can keep these where they need to be. You're going to want to push back the sleeving that I got and separate these twisted wires a little bit. I did a couple untwists. You're probably going to want to do more to get down or wherever you want them to attach this. You're going to want to take 2 fingers on the end, if not 2.5, and cut. Keep this piece. You're going to want this. Trust me. It's very valuable. These are very expensive little plugs, and if you ever want to cut this back off and go back to factory or make your own modification little jumper, here you go. You're going to want to take on all of these, they all have in pin 3 this blue wire with a gray line. All of them have it. All of those blue wires with gray lines are going to attach to their corresponding red wires on that plug. So you're going to take the blue wire from here and attach it to the red wire here. Then you're going to take the green and white wire and always go to the gray. The common wire is going to go to the red plug, the red wire here, and the uncommon wire is going to go to the gray in every plug. But you must make sure you complete one plug at a time. If you cut back too far and cut back not far enough and you mix these up, you're gonna have problems. One at a time, always. Completed, move on. As long as your wires are connected and there's nothing loose, you're good to move on, okay? You've completed that through the whole thing. You got them all connected back up. You can slip your sheathing back over, wrap some electrical tape to rewrap your whole piece here, or if you have some fabric electrical wiring tape, I suggest using that as well. Choice is yours, but you clean this back up to cover it up. Now we're gonna move on to the section part, which is these wires going to your ECU. You're gonna wanna cut your tape here, pull it back, and kind of find the wire you need, but your main objective is to get these plastic sheathings to slide down. And the reason being is if you can slide it down and open it up, and you can put a little hole here in the side with a little pin or something, you can run these wires through the side and have all of your work under this, and then slide the sheathing back up over it and tape it up. It's up to you. Now, I made these, like I said, a bit so that you could run, there's two that go to the back and one, I believe it's the yellow, if I remember correctly, that goes to the front. I made them so that you could come and tie in down here, not up here. This makes it very bad, a weak connection, and gives a lot of stress. And if you mess this up, you're screwed because you're right up against this. If you come down here and you mess up, you can have a little wiggle room to replace and fix it. So now the black is ground. So if you have any common grounds, you can go anywhere. I taped this one up just a little bit to keep her together. You can untape this. I wouldn't suggest going back further, but if you have to, go for it. Now, if I didn't make my leads long enough and if my math completely sucks, I will be adding in 3 butt connectors that you just slip on, cut these back, slip them on, twist the wire, slid them over the middle, heat them up with a heat gun, and they'll heat shrink down, and then you can tape them up. That's not what I wanted, but I don't know. I seem to be bad with numbers recently. So after you've done all that, you can reattach your battery. After everything's all plugged in, reattach your battery, check for fitment. These are gonna have a nice solid clip in, and you put your watt box in, plug it into your watt box, start her up, and you're good to go. If you have any questions or anything, let me know in Messenger. I'm going to be leaving this video up for as long as I can, and I will be keeping a copy to share out if you need to watch it again. Thanks a lot.